That's bluesman Chris O'Leary blowing hard on his new album, The Hard Line. This is Chris's 6th album and his first for Alligator Records, a label that means a lot to this former Marine and vocalist for Levon Helm's Barn Burners.
I'm really excited. I'm thrilled.
Yeah.
As a blues fan, all my heroes were on Alligator.
Right.
All of them, pretty much. Cotton and Big Walter and Carrie Bell and William Clark, and the list goes on.
Yeah.
Junior Wells. So being on Alligator is like a dream come true.
Very cool. And did they approach you? Did you chase them down? How did it happen?
I did most of the chasing there.
Good on you.
He came out to a gig that I had in Chicago. Bruce Iglauer did, and
Right.
And I noticed him in the crowd. And on the end of the set, he came up and introduced himself, and I was like, "Holy cow!" So we struck up a conversation, and that opened the door. And
Right.
then the pandemic hit, and all I did was write music. I wrote a whole mess of songs. So I recorded them, and I would start sending him songs. And eventually he was like, "All right, you get me 11 that I like, and we'll talk about a record." So
Cool.
30 songs later.
Nice one. You were
30 songs
inspired,
later.
motivated.
Yeah.
So does it make a difference as a musician, the label and the business behind the record when you're thinking about making the record for you?
Yeah, it does. I want to say with Alligator, the business definitely makes a huge difference, because I have for the first time, I mean, my labels before were VizTone and Showplace, and there was like much smaller organizations, and there wasn't much support. Now I have a whole team behind me.
Right.
But it's mostly, I feel like I'm sort of vindicated, all the work, because it's Alligator.
Yeah.
For me, that's the main thing, because it's a realized dream come true. I mean, I don't know. Let's see, the first Alligator record I got was Sun Seals. It was a Sun Seals live record.
Right.
And I was a kid.
Yeah.
I was. So being on Alligator alone is probably it's like vindication.
Very cool. Very cool. All righty. So you mentioned that you had like a lot of songs, 30 some songs to plow through. And it looks like you've written everything, you produced the record yourself, you have a lot of players on it, but it looks like you making all these decisions kind of on your own. Is that how it felt for you? And how did you go about making those decisions?
As far as picking out the 11 songs, that was Bruce.
Okay. Good on you.
But as far as writing them, yeah, that was me.
Yep.
The record was recorded. It's the strangest, because of the pandemic. It was the strangest recording process ever. I mean, between when I recorded Things Ain't Always What They Seem and when I recorded, the last song I recorded was Love for Sale. There's like 4 years in between that.
Yeah.
That stretch of time. That explains the variety of musicians on the record.
Yep.
Just because it was recorded in 3 different places, and it was very piecemeal, the recording process.
Right.
Next time, I'm just going to bring my road band into the studio. We'll be in the same room at the same time, and we'll do old school,
Yep. So most of it was recorded, it looks like, in Connecticut somewhere. Is that right?
That's correct.
Not exactly the home of the blues, so.
No, not really. Especially there. I mean, it's my guitar player, Chris Vitarello. He built a studio out of his garage, and he put his son Danny through Berklee School of Music as an engineer.
Right.
So we went over and recorded one song, and I loved the sounds I was getting. So I'm really happy with the way it went. It was very relaxed. I've known Chris my entire life. So
Right. So I think you released Lost My Mind as kind of the single to precede the album. Why did you choose that?
I went to my mama's house. She said, "Boy, you don't look the same. You've been walking around here crazy, and that damn girl is to blame. Can't you see, babe? It's like you did
It was a label's decision, and it was just a up tempo swinging tune. It's pretty indicative of the up stuff on the record.
Right. He's got some nice piano. Was it Jesse O'Brien playing on that?
That's Jesse. Yeah, I've got 3 piano players on the record. The one Brooks Milgate is my road piano player,
right?
And I found him late in the process. He's the most salacious piano player I've ever known.
Right. That's him playing on Things Ain't Always What They Seem, right?
Yeah, and him playing on Need for Speed as well. He's got a jackhammer of a left hand.
So when you're working with these guys and you're the producer, how much direction do you give? Do they take? Do you just let them play? Do you give them a little like, oh, a little more of this, a little of that? How does it work with you?
That's the last thing you said, a little bit more of this. I'll give them a general idea of what I want to hear.
Yeah.
And a lot of these guys have known and played with me for so long that they once I give them direction, we're good.
Right. And for yourself, so how do you know that you got your take right, your vocal, your harmonica, or whatever it is that you're playing or singing at the time?
I don't until I hear playback.
Right.
Once I hear playback, I make adjustments to microphones or amps or whatever I have to do. Sometimes I'll hit. I mean, I know my rig.
Yeah.
I know my rig. So, but once I make adjustments, it's usually pretty spot on.
Right. Now you have a tune called "Funky Little Club in Decatur." That sounds like a real place and a real time. Is it a real story?
Just a funky little club on Decatur to let it all hang out. Dirty dozen or rebirth might be kicking it live down here. That's what it's all about. Do what you want, forget about your drama. You can sing along and scream and shout. Just a funky little club on Decatur to let it all hang out.
It is. It's a place on the corner of Decatur and Bienville. I was in the house band there down in New Orleans
Right.
when I played with Levon Helm. It was Levon Helm's Classic American Cafe. It was right there on Decatur.
Right.
If you've been in New Orleans, it was kitty corner from the House of Blues.
Right.
Levon asked us to be the house band at his club on Decatur Street. So I
Right.
dropped everything and I moved to New Orleans. And the song is about that club.
Right.
It was a great place. It was a magical place. New Orleans is where my heart is. It's my favorite place in the world.
Right.
There's no other place like it.
Yep. Yeah, I went there once, and you can probably tell from my accent, I'm American. So I was coming back to the States to visit, and we were meeting up in New Orleans because we were going to see Nick Cave, I think it was. But
Yeah.
I arrived early morning. It was like a Monday morning at 5 a.m. I'm in the airport, and this was a few years back. I swear, the first person I saw walking out of the airport was a very dapper-looking Alan Toussaint. I was like,
That's
"Holy
fantastic.
crap! I'm here. I'm in the right place, man."
Yeah. Yeah, that's fantastic.
So yeah, it is a good town. Now you mentioned Levon Helm, and it's interesting because I have a new flatmate, and I was she's a big Robbie Robertson fan, and I was like, and I said, well, you need to talk about, when you're talking about Robbie, you need to read about Levon's side of things as well, because I showed her the Last Waltz and all that. He's interesting character, isn't he?
Levon was the most important musical figure in my life.
Right.
He everything changed. When we were down there, we were probably down there for about a year, and then the club closed its doors. There was some kind of, it was New Orleans stuff. There was some hinky land grab, real estate stuff.
Yeah.
So then he brought us on the road, and we were his band for 6 or 7 years. And he was fantastic. The lessons I learned with him will last me for the rest of my life.
And was he open? Was he happy to share those lessons?
Absolutely. He was he is the guy that what you hear on the record, that's pretty much him.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? That was him. He was just a good old boy from Turkey Scratch, Arkansas, who grew up listening to Pat Curtis playing with Sonny Boy Williamson, and you weren't going to tell him any different. That
Yep.
that you know
Yep.
that was the way he was. Very generous of information, and you name it, generous to a fault.
Right. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I saw the band many times over the years, and it was always great.
The thing is, the first concert I ever saw was my dad brought me to the Palace Theater in Albany, New York, to see the band, and it was the Reunited band when
Yep.
Bridget was alive, and the Kate brothers were playing with
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
And so, he'd been a hero of mine, and it's such a revelation when your heroes meet your expectations.
Yeah, yeah.
He'd been a dick. The same thing goes with James Cotton.
Yeah.
He's the reason I play harmonica, and he turned out to be better than how I had already worked him up in my head to be this giant, and he was.
Cool. Yep, that's all right. Yeah, now getting back to your record, you have, I'm almost afraid to ask this, you have a tune called Who Robs a Musician? I'm hoping that's not based on any kind of experience, but it probably is, isn't it?
Yeah, you pull into West Memphis for a bite to eat. Park the van, get some chicken and some cornbread and a little sweet tea. You can tell by the Chevy that my wallet ain't heavy. Still got dents from the last 3 collisions. I gotta ask myself, what kind of son bitch robs a musician?
Every road band out there probably shares that experience. You're driving around in this big van, basically with a neon sign on the back saying "Rob me."
Really?
So we stopped in West Memphis after doing the King Biscuit Blues Festival, and we just stopped for lunch, and they got everything. They stole all my merchandise.
Man.
They stole like 300 CDs. I don't know what they're gonna do with them. We checked all the dumpsters in the area.
Right. Can you imagine, like, what? Oh, did they get your gear as well?
They got no. The good thing that time they did not. We had some gear stolen in Chicago, but
right
in West Memphis they took a couple. They took a Kindle, and they got us for some. They got us for all my merch, all my T-shirts, all my CDs. It was in one big suitcase, and they took it all.
That's insane. Man, it sucks though. It's tough out there. Is the road any different now than it was, say, pre-COVID?
No, it's the same. Although club attendance is down.
Right.
People get used to staying at home, and
yep.
it's hard to get them back out.
Yep.
But no, it's same. But I'm a big hot rod guy.
Right.
I've been out to the Salt Flats, so Burt Monroe is a personal hero of mine.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Burt's a hero of mine.
And his Indian.
It's a fantastic movie, but going out to Wendover in the Salt Flats, you get a real idea of who he was.
Yeah. Very cool. Now, I was curious, when you're talking about guitars, so you're mainly a harmonica player. Are there like classic harmonicas like there are guitars that people?
If you can get a hold of an old one, there. But the thing is, it's a. They only last. Those reeds are only lasting for so long.
Yeah, they just wear out.
Old cases and somehow work it. But yeah, they're more antiques than anything else.
Gotcha. Very
unfortunately.
Good. But if you find one that, say, little Walter used, you might want to hang on.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Very good. Well, it sounds like it's all happening. Good luck with the record and release day and all that. And I assume you're hitting the road after that.
Yeah, we're going down to Florida. We're going to go right straight down the East Coast, down to Florida, and then back up. And then we're probably going to be out for like 3 months.
Yeah.
With breaks here and there, but it's going to be a whirlwind tour.
All right.
I got to sell these records.
Gotcha. All right. Well, maybe you can hit the Byron Bay Music Blues Fest next year, and we'll see you down this way then.
All righty.
All right. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Bye-bye.